Alright, sorry for the delay. We will now begin the debate. Okay, you have 30 seconds for each team to introduce yourself. Your time starts now.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable judges, respected audiences, and delegates of the opposition team, I'm standing here as the government team with me as the first speaker, Shifa Nafisa, and second speaker, Shifa Askia Meta, and my third speaker, Nuraisha Azahra Mulyadi. Proudly propose. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judge, moderator, and affirmative team. My name is Saifah Agustina Putri, and I'm from negative team. We are consist of 3 members. The first speaker is me, Saifah Agustina Putri. The second speaker is Aulia Fatia Nazla. The third speaker is Nurli Arahi. And we are from PDM Mulia Darussalam Islamic Boarding School, Tanah Laut Regency, South Kalimantan. And I will be presenting our argument on regulating social diseases based on religion. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, affirmative team, you have 4 minutes to state your arguments. Time starts now.
Imagine a world where people do not do anymore such kinds of social diseases that basically happens in our society in status quo. This is what we want as the government team panels. But before we come into our arguments, let us define some of the key words on this debate today. Firstly, some kind of regulation. What is that then? We want to give a design laws, punishment, or such prevention programs and consequences for such social diseases that happens in society. But what are social diseases itself then? Social diseases are activities or such actions that basically harms these individuals or harm people of the society order that basically gives so many bad impacts for individuals or the society itself. This includes gambling, drug abuse, alcohol misuse, pornography, so on and so forth, and this list is endless. We know that this pekat or social diseases are expanding in the status quo panels. We need to see that gambling happens in so many ways now. There are 2 major factors that basically expands the kind of social diseases that is happening. Firstly, through digitalization. Because from digitalization, we can see that there are online gamblings now. There are narcotics sold by online now, so on and so forth. This is super harmful for the society itself. Second, the easy way of distribution. For example, drugs you can see now, it's basically distributed all over small villages, so on and so forth. This is going to be super harmful for the society, and we need something to do this.
Okay, we need to find the main problem. Okay, from Islamic jurisprudence, the principle is ad-dararu yuzalu. So that means every harm must be eliminated. So this is our goal. So that means there is no tolerance for social disease at all from the Islamic jurisprudence itself. Our goal must be to eliminate it, or at least we make it to the lowest level. But why do we reject the national laws itself? Because national laws is failed. Why? First, law enforcement, hypocrisy. Satpol PP and police always support someone who support bar or karaoke that has affiliate with them. So they will not accuse it as the social disease itself. And this show the law is only sharp for the weak. Second, prison offenders. Narcotic itself is still sell inside of the jail. The officers are easy to breathe, easy to pay, and the prisoner live well, and there is no deterrence effect at all. So, next, alcohol girls. How could the government itself will support us? How could the government itself will abolish the socialism itself? When they got a tax from us, they put a big tax of alcohol. They got benefit from us. National law is inconsistent. Thank you.
The urgency that we need to see in this motion is the fact that we need a new hope in this kind of society. If we stick to the government law, the society else will stay like this and even spread into another society. This is why we need a moral deterrence and the moral legitimacy. First of all, we need to see what kind of the Sharia law has provided to us. First of all, the deterrence effect. The fines and the jail didn't even affect and fear people at all. It didn't fear people anymore. The fact that the thing that linked with our religious system and the fact that the fear of sin, the social stigma could affect people more, making the Sharia law more compatible and more beneficial in this kind of society. And also the exclusivity of Sharia law. We have so many exclusivity of Sharia law as such as a clear certain consequences and punishment, global parallel access, and we will explain that more in our argument. Probably to propose.
Thank you so much. Now, the opposition team, please state your arguments. You have 4 minutes. Time starts now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is a country with diverse religions and beliefs. Policies based on religion risk imposing the values of one particular group on the entire society, which contradict the principle of unity and diversity, Bhinneka Katalika, exciting secular law, such as the Criminal Code or KUHP, and the need for religious dogma. 1. Potential for discrimination and misuse. Religious approaches tend to be subjective and can be used to justify repressive action against minorities or to demand immoral. For example, while prostitution is often viewed as a religious sin, victim of sexual exploitation, not moral punishment. Okay? For second, limited effectiveness in addressing social diseases. Issues like the drug abuse and gambling are complex problems that require solution based on public health. For the next argument will be read by my friend as the two speakers.
Okay, I will continue my friend explanation. Ladies and gentlemen, social issues such as drug abuse and free sex social should be regulated based on region, but rather towards a more inclusive and evidence-based approach. Like the region is subjective and not universal. Region rules in significantly across different fields, making them applicable for universal application meaning restriction, domination. Do not impose such a similarly focus on drug use differ widely among regions, with some considering it haram will alter applicant prohibition. This domination while railing and region regulated social issues with awareness. Health strategies that focus on education that regulating us of drug abuse can framing in morally and moral. There is failing region-based punishment of often and effective in human. Many legal systems practically have punishment for prohibition. For the next argument will be read by my friend.
Okay, I will continue explanation from speaker 2. And ladies and gentlemen, religious is not effective in regulating social diseases because it focuses more on spiritual and moral aspect rather than practical and scientific solutions. Regulating social diseases requires a more comprehensive and evidence-based approach rather than just relying on religion teaching. Religion can be part of the solution, but it cannot be the sole solution to addressing social diseases. Religion has limitation in regulating social diseases because it does not have the ability to directly address social diseases. Social diseases often require specific medical, psychological, and social interventions. Therefore, religion cannot replace the role of more professionals, health, and social institutions. Regulating social diseases requires a approach that is based on evidence and science, rather than just relying on religion teachings. Research and scientific data can help identify the root causes of social diseases and develop effective solutions. Thus, a comprehensive and evidence-based approach can help addressing social diseases more effectively. Address social diseases. Religion can play an important role in helping individuals and communities address social diseases, but it cannot be the sole solution. An effective approach requires cooperation between religious institutions and health institutions and social institutions to address social diseases in a holistic manner. In the case example, substance abuse and domestic violence are examples of social diseases that require a comprehensive and evidence-based. Religion can help individuals overcome addiction of challenged behavior, but medical and physiological treatment is also necessary to address physical and physiological dependence of protect victims and punish perpetrators. Okay, thank you.
The opposition team, please ask the question. You have 1 minute and your time starts now.
Thank you for taking the time to ask and asking. Okay, here are my questions. If regulating pekat and overreach of government power, how can you prove that regulation on pekat are effective in addressing social problems? And the second question is,
Will regulation on pekat lead to discrimination against certain groups?
Okay, the third question: will regulations on social diseases lead to discrimination against certain groups? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the affirmative team, please answer the question. 2 minutes starts from now.
We think that we have the clear mechanism to actually answer the question. Thank you very much. First of all, the regulation of pekat, is it actually effective? We think it's yes, because we have our own mechanism in Sharia law. We are going to grouping all the leaders of every regions, and they are going to negotiate what kind of the best and the moral deterrence effect most inside in Indonesia or every religion in Indonesia. And we know it's the Sharia law. It will be so effective because the fact that Sharia law deters the moral effect of the perpetrators, and it will making them realize that this is actually a form of sin, and the fact that they can't do that anymore, and the fact that the Sharia has the biggest and the clearest consequences or punishment given to the perpetrators will make them fear, not just because the fines or jails or the government, but they will always fear, they will feel fear the fact that this isn't the best thing to do. And also, the changes of discrimination of other groups, it will likely to happen, of course, but the fact that the Sharia law is the result of every leader's negotiation in Indonesia, every leaders of religion negotiation in Indonesia, making that the Sharia law is the rightest, and the fact that it will give the moral deterrence, the biggest punishment, and will make the perpetrators or other upcoming perpetrators stopping their own bad deeds, making the fact that other regions feel included inside of the negotiation, inside of the groups, because they are keeping the opinion inside and they will discuss it with other leaders. It will erase the fact that there will be a change of discrimination, no, because they are already discussing that, and the result is what they trust will be better for our society and for our nation. Our goals in here to reduce or even abolish the social ills. Social ills is the biggest root of every criminal in Indonesia, and we think that this is why we need to delete it, we need to abolish and finish this with the most effective way, and we believe that it's the Sharia law. Sharia law resulted by every negotiation on every religion. With this, we probably propose. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the affirmative team, please ask a question. You have 1 minute and your time starts now.
Okay, let me give you an example. First, about a police and Satpol PP itself, who has affiliate with a bar or karaoke, so they don't accuse it as a social disease. But when they not affiliate with them, they accuse it as social disease. Oh my God, how it's so injustice. And then talk about tax income from alcohol. Even the tax is so bigger. How can the government when abolish the pekat itself? Even they take benefit from the pekat. Even they take benefit from the alcohol. How can they? So what do you think about this? Like how your government already failed practical and structurally. So how can you against this? How the mechanism of you, like how could it happen? So this show us why we need to use this Sharia base, because it's deterrent the moral, and it will more effectively than things that are state law.
Time's over.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the opposition team, please answer the question. You have 2 minutes and time starts now.
Religion has limitation in regulating social diseases because it does not have the ability to directly address social diseases, and social diseases often require specific medical, physiological, and social interventions. In regulations, social diseases requires a approach that is based on evidence and science, rather than just relying on religion teachings. Research and scientific data can help identify the root causes of social diseases and develop effective solutions.
Okay. Potential for discrimination and misuse religious approach tend to be subjective and can be used to justify repressive action against minorities or to stimulate immoral. For example, while prostitution is often viewed as a religious sin, victim of sexual exploitation or moral punishment, limited effectiveness in addressing social diseases. For the next answer would be right.
Issues like the abuse and gambling and complex and problem that require solution based on public health, economics and education, not just religion prohibition, applicable data those that secular countries like Portugal with discrimination, minor drug use and participant rehabilitation have been more successful in producing additional approach regulated modified punishment. Conflict with human rights, religion-based punishment such as scolding and alcohol, confusion in approach,
violate universal human rights principles, including the rights of privacy and freedom of belief. Religion often focus on punishment, whereas modern solutions praise recovery, such as rehabilitation, drug uses. This policy, religious social disease is often avoided by policies to really supporting using.
Time's over. Now, affirmative team, please state your rebuttals. You will have 3 minutes and time starts now.
Thank you for the time. First thing that we've been noticing about the opposition side of the house is the fact that they say that they are scared enough about if social diseases according to religion would feel so much like subjectivity and not universal, or perhaps it will hinder some kinds of religions or minorities, so on and so forth. But the thing is, panels, we've already told you from the very first time that the clearest mechanisms right now is to basically collect and group all of the leaders of these different religions in order to make a discussion about such things, such consequences that basically gives more moral deterrence and more feeling that could basically scare the perpetrators itself. This is according to our first ever goal to abolish or even minimize the amount of social diseases that is happening. Therefore, we've already told you that Sharia can basically be the center of it all. Why? Because we've known that even if other religions have the same values to basically reject and violate and prohibit any kinds of social diseases and any kinds of violations. We know that Islam and Sharia itself has the strongest kinds of principle, has the most detailed principle in order to give punishments for those who do this. In order, why? Because Allah said himself that basically people who do violations will get the bad things that they do from the first place. And this has already been regulated in Islam itself. And thank God for the second time around, they've already talked about medication and so-called sophisticated psychological health that is needed to prevent so-called social diseases. Thank you for supporting our arguments, because this is our exclusivity panels, because we've been talking about you, how this will give deterrence effects and awareness inside of the people. This will increase the faith of the people if we try to regulate the social ills based on religions panels. That is how the opposition team has been supporting our side in the very first place. Okay, second, talking about the medical condition itself, we know that even if the government and the law and the KUHP that have been existing right now, panels, is not basically effective, because at the end of the day, it feels also subjective on their side, because like my friend has said before, even if somebody goes to jail, that jail, if you can pay somebody on the police, if you can pay somebody from the government, that jail can, that police can make that jail looks like their own house. Go to the news panels today, you can see that subjectivity and inequality also exist on their side of the house. And even if they talk about psychological conditions, and even if they talk about medical conditions, this happens on our sides. And therefore, we give a fresh hope, a new hope, a kind of thing that basically can provide time for the... Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now the opposition team will reply to the rebuttals. You have 4 minutes and 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, thank you. Religion can play an important role in helping individuals and communities address social diseases, but it cannot be sole solutions. An effective approach requires cooperation between religious institutions, health institutions, and social institutions to address social diseases in a holistic manner. As example, substance abuse and domestic violence are examples of social diseases that require a comprehensive and evidence-based approach. Religion can help overcome addiction or change behavior, but medical and psychological treatment is also necessary to address physical and psychological dependence or protect victims and punish perpetrators.
Religion-based punishment are often ineffective and inhuman. Many religion legal systems prescribe harsh punishment for behavior, like prohibiting sex, drug use, including flogging, stoning, and browsing. However, these measures have limited warfare effective
traducing the principles of such behavior countries with strict religion laws, such as Iran, continue struggle with haters undergone the abuse and protection extended to deterring DC activists. Extreme punishment often drive them more serious and difficult to address.
Depends on the other factors. Extremists are often influenced by other factors such as economics, politics, and culture. Religion alone cannot address these issues without structural change and appropriate environmental. And the potential for discrimination and misuse, religious approach tend to be subjective and can be used to justify repressive action against minorities or to deem immoral. For example, while prostitution often viewed as a religion sin, victims of sexual exploitation are not moral punishments. In regulating social diseases requires approach that is based on evidence and science, rather than just relying on religion teachings, research, and scientific data can help identify the root causes of social diseases and develop active solutions. Thus, a comprehensive and evidence-based approach can help address social diseases more effectively.
Potential for discrimination and misuse religious approach tend to be subjective and can be used to justify repressive action against minorities or to stimulate immoral. For example, while prostitution often viewed, not a cue.
You have
For example, while prostitution.
You have to understand.
Alright, I'm going to ask my interruption. So first of all, how could you make sure the government itself isn't subjective at all? While my friends already explained it, how we could make sure, how we already explained how the government has their own subjectivity. This is, how could you prove it to us and to the audience? Thank you.
Regulating social diseases requires an approach that is based on evidence. Religion can also have a negative impact if used as a tool and control or manipulate individuals or communities. Religion can be used to justify unjust or discriminatory action, which can worsen social problems. Therefore, we need to be more careful in using religion as a solution to address social problems. An example of the misuse of religion addressing social problems can be seen in some situations. For instance, some religious groups can use religion as a tool to justify violent or discriminatory action against other groups. This can worsen social problems and not help in solving them. In the debate of religion, social disease in religion, we have discussed various aspects related to the role of religion in addressing social problems. From this debate, we can conclude that religion has limitation in regulating social diseases and can have a negative impact if used as a tool to control or manipulate individuals or communities. Therefore, we need to be more careful in using religion as a solution to address social problems and really more on a comprehensive and evidence-based approach.
Alright, next, the opposition team will state their rebuttals. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, religion is not effective in regulating social diseases because it's focused more on spiritual and moral aspects rather than practical and scientific solution. Regulating social diseases requires a more comprehensive and evidence-based approach rather than just relying on religious teachings. Religion can be part of the solution, but it cannot be sole solution to addressing social diseases. Religion has limitations in regulating social diseases because it does not have the ability to directly address social diseases. Social diseases often require specific medical, psychological, and social interpretations. Therefore, religion cannot replace the role of more professional health and social institutions. So, religious rules vary significantly across different faiths, making them impractical for universal application. Many Christian denominations do not impose such restrictions. Similarly, views on drug use differ widely among religions, with some considering it haram, while others like explicit prohibition. This inconsistency demonstrated why relying on religious doctrines to regulate social issues creates unfairness and confusion. A more effective approach will involve public health strategies that focus on education about the real dangers of drug abuse rather than framing it really as a moral of religious failing. Religious-based punishments are often ineffective and human. Many religious legal systems prescribe hard punishment for behavior like premarital sex or drug use, including flogging, stoning, or imprisonment. However, these measures have repeatedly proven effective at reducing the prevalence of such behavior. Countries with strict religious laws, such as Iran, continue to struggle with high rates of underground drug abuse and prostitution.
These are politicizing religious social issues of often applied by policies to really support using religious morality without addressing not causes like property or intensive solution. Dependence on other factors on land, slot gambling, decrease are often influenced by other factors such as economics, politics, and culture.
It will not be the best, but it will be the very minimum. Because why? Because cost isn't that much, and we know that government provide usually even only met the bare minimum itself. Second, so appears that people who's going to do such medication and where, like. Things about small town who has limited facility and things if you keep talking about psychology and medical. Okay, it will continue by the third speaker.
Giving some rebuttals to some points that the opposition team just say, they say that the religion-based government system would justify violence to other groups, but we think it wouldn't be happen at all because at the first place they have already negotiated what kind of a thing that should happen and what kind of the best thing and the better thing to do in society, and of course it's in the good way, and of course it's not in the intolerant way. And also they say that it could manipulate, back to my previous arguments, that this isn't going to be a manipulation or even a justification to violence, but this is going to be the new way, a new hope of our government to reach the kind of new society that is clean from the social ills. And also, they say that we didn't have the specific punishment, specific consequences to other perpetrators that did the social ills, but no, the Sharia law have their own exclusivity. We have their own exclusivity that say even if you if you steal someone, you are going to get hudud, and the fact that if you do adultery, you are going to get rajam, and the fact that the Sharia law has already have all regulation of that, and it's the clear one. It gives the deterrence effect, and it will give fear of people to do that again, and it will clean the society from the social ills. That's why we think that the Sharia law is more better. They keep talking about psychological medication and something like that, while what we need right now is the moral deterrence, and the fact that we need to make our morals more better, so the people or the society will realize it from the first place that this is a bad deed and they are not going to do it at all. So the criminalization, the bad things that happen in society will not happen in the first place because they already understand it from the first one. And this is why we think that we have the exclusivity, and the fact that there are so many data. They say that we need a scientific data to actually strengthen our argument, but we do have it. You know, Aceh has decreased and even low criminal cases in Indonesia because they apply the Sharia law to their own government. That's why we need
Corruption.
Yes, please.
Are there real-life examples of regulation or program successfully addressing social problems?
Just like what I said before, how Aceh has already decreased cases just by using the Sharia law. You know, it's called Qanun Jinayat in Aceh, and it's already proven to be effective. And you know, the cases in Aceh has already decreasing through years just because they use the Sharia law. This is why we need to copy them. We need to see what is the better and what is the thing that we need to abandon. And that's why the exclusivity of our our Sharia law and mechanism as already explained by me et al.
Okay. The fact that they were asking if such regulations can basically deter or hinder such social problems, we say yes, panels, because this is a crime, this is a violation, and what to do to decrease violations itself, a strong kind of consequences that make people fear to do that again. There's such approach might basically hinder people and make people scared, but it will not be complete without the consequences that is given by the perpetrators themselves. If they're going to talk about medical conditions for such perpetrators, maybe on a short term they will find that okay, this is I think it's a bad deed that I'm going through, but like in a long term maybe that sense of fear will be going away anyway, because they haven't seen such strong consequences. Like take Singapore for example, they have strong fines for people who basically throw trashes anywhere, and what do people do? Because of that high consequences, nobody throw the trashes on public places. This is one kind of real life example that such regulations can basically deter violation on social conditions. Proudly, and then we also talk about how.
Time's over.
Okay, we proudly propose. Thank you.
Now, affirmative team, please summarize your arguments 1 minute from now.
Alright, I'm the third speaker. I'm going to give a whole conclusion of our whole points. First of all, you've already said, you've already heard about our exclusivity, how we will gather all the religions leaders to actually make up for things that actually can cure the social ills, and we know it's the Sharia law. The Sharia law is going to be the best and the new hope in government or even the society in Indonesia to finish and even or at least decrease the social ills in Indonesia with how strong and how clear the consequences they will get. And also the fact that there are so many data that shows how Sharia law succeed to actually decrease the social ills in every area such as Aceh or even Singapore. And also the status quo, the fact that there are so many people who do gambling, the data is keep increasing and the perpetrator is still increasing, making that the government laws still haven't succeeded in this year, and we need a new hope to save this Indonesia region. With this, we as the government did proudly propose. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, the opposition team, please summarize your arguments 1 minute from now.
Okay, thank you. This is conclusion we will copy. In this debate on regulating social diseases in religion, we have discussed various aspects related to the role of religion in addressing social problems. From the argument presented by the negative team, we can see that religion has limitation in regulating social diseases. Religion cannot replace the role of more professional health and social institutions in addressing social problems. Religion can also have negative impact if used as a tool to control, manipulate individual or communities. Therefore, we need to be more careful in using religion as a solution to address social problems. For the next conclusion, I will be read by my friend.
Has limitation in addressing social problems because not all social problems can be addressed with a spiritual approach. Social problems such as substance abuse, domestic violence, and others requires a more comprehensive and evidence-based approach. Religion cannot provide effective solution to treat these problems without the help of more professional health and social institutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much for both teams. That is the end of the debate. Please give a round of applause. Thank you so much. Now both teams can go back to their seat while we wait for scoring. Alright, with this, that is the end of the elimination.